Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'm going to be testing Dragonstone from Speedball. I'll be testing this glaze on 7 different clay body test tiles as well as on a textured white stoneware mug. This is a cone 6 glaze that's listed as lead-free, non-toxic, and dinnerware safe by the manufacturer. Before I open this glaze, I want to make sure that it's mixed extremely well. I'll start by giving the jar a good shake, making sure that I use my thumbs to secure the lid so I don't end up with a face full of glaze. After a firm shaking, I like to mix up my glazes with an egg beater attached to a power drill. After mixing the glaze with the egg beater attachment, it's still a good idea to poke around at the bottom of the jar with a stir stick or something to make sure that there isn't any mineral material clumped up down there. You want your glaze to be thoroughly mixed, and if you have clumped up mineral at the bottom, a glaze may not perform consistently or as intended. I'm going to be brushing glaze onto my test tiles. I brush my tiles in 1, 2, and 3 coats with the thickest coat at the top of the tile. I fire my tiles hanging on a high alumina rod to see how the glaze will perform on a vertical surface. In this way, I'm also testing for running. With the thickest coat of glaze at the top of the tile, if it's going to run, it's got somewhere to go. I like to test glazes on lots of different clay bodies to get a general idea of how a glaze is going to behave on different colors and surfaces. Everyone out there is working with a different kind of clay, and maybe one of these tiles can help you guess at what might happen for you. As always, I strongly recommend that you make your own test tiles and fire them in your own kiln. Fire your tiles exactly how you would fire your normal work. There are a lot of different factors that go into how a glaze is going to perform, and the best way to see how a glaze is going to work for you in your kiln on your clay with your own application process is to do your own testing. Looking at the textured white stoneware mug, this is one of the most incredible glazes I have tested in a while. The coloration is a phenomenal minty teal with ruby red modeling. The surface is glossy with no visible glaze flaws. There wasn't any noticeable breaking over the textured surface of the mug, and this glaze is fairly thick and muted out a lot of the texture that was on the mug. There isn't any noticeable pooling, suggesting this glaze is rather stable and not prone to running. On this white stoneware tile, we can see that this glaze has gorgeous color, a glossy surface, and didn't show any signs of downward motion from the areas of thicker application. In the areas of thicker application, we're seeing more of the ruby red, with the effect fading as you go down to the area of one coat. The color is just as incredible on Laguna B Mix. You get a lot more of the ruby red in areas of thicker application. Very stable, no downward motion, and a flawless glossy finish. The colors of this glaze are so vibrant on the Laguna Frost porcelain, it almost makes me want to work with porcelain. But not really, because every time I make porcelain test tiles, I remember why we aren't friends. But if you do like working with porcelain, I seriously suggest you get a jar of this amazing glaze. The color is beautiful and it fits the clay well without any signs of running. On my speckled stoneware, this glaze is consistent. It has about the same color and vibrancy as it does on white stoneware. This glaze mutes out the speckles and they don't bleed through and add to that dynamic like they do in other glazes, with the exception of the edges and other areas where the glaze was applied very thinly. Laguna Speckled Buff is also showing vibrant color, but not much sign that the speckles show through or have much effect on the visual appearance of the glaze. The surface is glossy and consistent with more ruby red in areas of thicker application. Continuing the theme of consistency, the colors are just as vibrant as ever on a red stoneware body. The light minty teal is still holding true to its pastel, and the ruby red is nice and vibrant. The surface is glossy without issue. On Laguna B3 Black, we have the slightest bit of deviation. The color is still vibrant, but I'm seeing a slight bit of cooler, darker blue in the mix. There's also the tiniest amount of bubbling at the edges, which could translate into larger pitting issues on larger work. More testing would be needed, but overall the color is very impressive. All around this glaze is a consistent minty teal that has mottled ruby red in areas of thicker application. This glaze seems to be stable and did not show any signs of running on any of my tiles tested today. It seems this glaze is going to perform well on nearly every clay body out there. In my opinion, it really shines with vibrance on ultra white porcelain bodies. This is one of the most interesting and beautiful glazes I have tested in a while, and I'm sure you can put it to good use in your studio. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed learning more about this glaze and can make use of this information in your studio. If you'd like to help support my channel so I can get more glazes to test for you, consider becoming a member of my channel right here on YouTube. If you'd like to see all the ceramics I currently have available for sale, visit my website, bluenosetrading.com. If you want to stick around for more art videos, be sure to subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading. Thank you so much for being here until the end of the video. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploring, drink enough water, and I will see y'all in the next video.